The people, the headlines, the issues impacting you and your family. This Week in Cincinnati on 9 on Your Side.
Good morning and welcome to This Week in Cincinnati. I'm Craig McKee. This morning we're speaking with the president of Northern Kentucky University, Dr. Ashish Vaidya. He was officially installed a few weeks ago, but he started leading NKU last summer. He says he wanted the ceremony to be held in the spring to give him some more time to learn more about the campus, the culture at NKU, and the tri-state. In his address, he spoke a little bit about why he wanted to come to NKU.
Back in the fall, I said what drew me to NKU and this region was the spirit of entrepreneurship and innovation and a great tradition of civic and community engagement. The university's leading work on regional stewardship has deeply influenced me over the course of my career, and I wanted to be part of what NKU does next.
The president went on to thank the staff, his family, and the students for being there to support him. Well, Dr. Vaidya is NKU's 6th president. He came to the school from St. Cloud University in Minnesota, where he served as interim president. He earned his doctorate in economics from the University of California, Davis. And with us now is President Vaidya. Thanks so much for being here today and spending some time with us. I guess first of all, are you settled in now, finally?
As settled as I'm going to be, no, it's been wonderful. Really has been a great transition. Great to get to know the people and this place and this region. So I feel very fortunate.
Today, the main topic we're talking about here is this new Success by Design plan that you've been working on for months. A lot of feedback from the faculty and students. And I'm curious, obviously we want to talk about this plan and what it means, but is this an idea or concept that you had at St. Cloud or developed over your time in the world of education? You said there's got to be a way to take a different look at things.
Sure. Well, a couple of things, Craig. One of them is that the university was ready for the next iteration of its chapter. Right? We just celebrated our 50th anniversary.
Right.
The question of a new president coming on, the timing was perfect to talk about what's NKU's next chapter look like. And that was kind of an exciting thing for me to come in here and help develop that along with all the insights and feedback I'm receiving. So the timing was right to engage in this conversation. I think what we did differently were a couple of things. Number one, it was based on a lot of the conversations I'd already had while I was transitioning, but also when I came here, about what is the highest priority that NKU should be focused on. And with that in mind, one of the things we did very at the outset, and that was back in August when I came on board, to say, listen, we're not going to have a lot of conversations about multiple priorities. We're going to have one priority, and that is advancing student success aligned with the needs of the region. And we're going to do this in a very quick manner. We're not going to spend months and months talking about it. So we're going to get this done in 6 months. And so I think a couple of things differently. This is an institution that's very nimble, it's open to new ideas, and it's also open to doing things quickly. So I thought, well, let's play that out.
Is part of this also about adjusting, because the funds that are available to any university at any given time obviously can change, but when you talk about the state influence on your budget as well, do you have to redesign things to make things work where you can still have successful students and successful output, while still staying within those dollars?
Absolutely. And in fact, the point you've made is exactly the accurate one, which is, the landscape is changing so rapidly, pretty much on a daily, weekly basis. Mm-hmm. We can't keep focusing back on how things were or how they might be. We have to be nimble and adapt to those things. And so that's why looking at what things we have to change in order for us to stay relevant is going to be a critical factor.
So what's the biggest hurdle for NKU? You've had some time to look at the operations and see what works, what doesn't work. What is the biggest hurdle that you face?
I think the challenges exist everywhere. I'm more energized and optimistic about all the positives that we have going for us at NKU and in this region. Mm-hmm. Established a strong record already in our short history, but a great deal of community support for NKU and what it's doing. We know that our biggest hurdle at this point is to make sure not only do we get access for our students so that they can come to NKU, but they successfully complete what they sought out to do. To me, that's the number one priority for us, the urgency of making sure that all students, regardless of their backgrounds, find a way to successfully navigate the path through NKU and leave with a highly valued degree or credential.
And you spoke about this success by design and taking a look at this. Hey, you want to do this in 6 months. We want to make sure this is a rapid process. The overall plan is laid out over 3 years. Why a 3-year margin instead of a 5-year or 10-year like you might see other plans?
Right. I think partly because I also recognize, I think we all do, that things will change quite rapidly. In many ways, the framework is sort of a guiding principle, right? Here is the big things we need to be focused on. But the pathway to getting some of those projects and initiatives underway will constantly be changing. And we'll adapt a very iterative process. Something works, we'll scale it up. Something doesn't work, hey, we'll learn from those mistakes and set it aside. So while the 3-year window is established to give a sense of urgency to the work, I expect this is an enduring aspect of our next chapter.
When you take a look at the percentage of freshmen that come in and actually make it through the process and graduate, what kind of a percentage margin are you looking at right now?
You know, our data shows that NKU, and unfortunately nationally as well, we're talking about 45% of our students who start as freshmen graduate within 6 years.
And how does that compare to other universities?
It's within the peer benchmarks. There are institutions that have done a tremendously great job of improving those percentages, but nearly, as I said, nearly half the students who start at a 4-year public institution are not completing their degree program in 6 years.
Where would you like to see that number?
I would like to see that number doubled, if anything. I know that seems like a tall order.
Right.
People on campus are probably getting nervous as we speak. But I do think that we have an obligation to serve students and think about ways in which we can serve them differently.
So what in this plan, when you talk about this new plan, what is in this plan that can make that number go up?
Well, so we focused on 3 aspects of student success. Number 1 is access. How do we make sure that our programs, our services, our offerings are available to a broader set of individuals, not just the traditional high school student, but also the post-traditional student, the one who's older, the one who is balancing work and family, the one who's first in their family to go to college. Make sure we can provide access to them. But the second piece is making sure that they complete their educational goals, making sure they leave NKU with a highly valued degree, certificate, or credentials. And that depends on what they are looking out to establish and how they will successfully navigate the college environment. The last piece is making sure that every learner who comes to NKU is prepared for career success and to be engaged members of the community. So we feel the completion agenda, which is right in the middle, that's an element of making sure we improve retention rates, persistent rates, and those graduation rates.
All right, our conversation will continue with President Vaidya after the break. Stay here.
The people, the headlines, the issues impacting you, all on This Week in Cincinnati on 9 on Your Side.